myself. Yeah.
Get it together.
Let me adjust myself. All right, we got him.
Well, it's too late. I'd already unmuted us anyways, so we were already talking to over our own logo. That would be like, you know, Al Bundy or whatever talking over the intro to Married with Children, just as it's like he's preparing before the sitcom began. That's what we just did to our own logo. But since we're running late, we really didn't have a choice.
Are we running late? Oh, we are. Way to go, dude. You blew it, dude.
Well, I was busy.
You had to untangle your headphones.
That had nothing to do with it. That was
it took you forever.
It was just poor choices were made, and
it just seemed like the most tedious thing watching you untangle for like what felt like 15 minutes, and I was like, man, that's so boring. And then I realized it had to be done. Like you got to do it. You know,
it was pretty ridiculous.
Felt long.
I need to actually disconnect my thing because I have this hearing aid, right? And the problem with it is, and I forgot to take it off because of this sort of thing. I thought maybe this sort of thing would happen where if you push on it, even just like very lightly, or if you like rub on it directly, it'll grant you 3 wishes. No, it's not a genie's lamp.
But I thought you were going to say it's going to pick up the Hubble telescope or something.
No,
it'll pick up satellite signals.
No, Bixby kicks in. You know that useless thing that you have on your phone?
Really? You have a robot in your ear?
I do. I can use it.
Holy shit!
I don't. I've never used Bixby.
You've basically fused with Alexa. That's what happened. You're a Robo-Sapien. Yeah, you are.
I prefer to call myself a robosexual. Just because I'm a degenerate like that.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying. Like I had to disconnect my Bluetooth from the phone because the Bixby kicked on in the middle of it, and I know it's just going to distract me every time it comes on because my headphones rub on it. You know how much this this earpiece costs? This little hearing aid cost me.
How much did it cost you?
Well, it cost me $0, but it costs you, the taxpayer, $2,300.
Good one, yeah. You're on fire tonight, dude. That delivery, I appreciate it. Listen, people are mentioning your hair. I was telling you earlier that you look like if Chris Evans and Leonardo da Vinci like merged into one person. You've got the Captain America haircut with the Da Vinci beard.
Well, that's what I was going for. So I'm glad you noticed.
Starring Tom Miller, the Da Vinci beard.
Yeah. No, well, that's what eventually what I'm going to do. They always want to cut my beard like short. Like the dude always wants to clean it up for me, and I always have to talk. And same thing with my mustache. I've worked on this mustache for a very long time, and they always want to cut it. He's like, "Do you want it off the lip?" And I'm like, "No." Heavens no. But the barber I normally go to, who's like 2 seats down from him, he's always like, I would never touch that mustache. He's like, it's way too cool. But he's got like this long beard, just a little bit longer than mine, and he really prides his, but he can't grow the mustache out. So I get to flex on other beard bros with my mustache.
Mustache flex, dude? That's dope. You know, I can't grow a mustache.
What that is? A mustache flex is like this.
Oh yeah. I can't do that. Mine, I always end up looking like Mario if I shave just the mustache. I look like Super Mario. Super Mario
Brothers.
I did that one trucker beard before though, where you do the long, like the Hulk Hogan, the brother. You know what I mean? And that one's not too bad. I may do that again one day, but I'm very partial to the beard. You know, the thin beard, the stubble, the 5 o'clock shadow. Although it is pretty thick lately, I guess.
Yeah,
not like yours. Yours, you have the Da Vinci beard. I'm gonna write a movie about you called the Da Vinci Beard.
The Da Vinci Beard.
It's gonna be good.
It sounds way more exciting, but then when you watch the movie, you're like, so is he gonna do anything for this movie at all? No, he's just gonna solve puzzles. Okay, like I could have done this, but whatever.
Yeah.
Right. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else to you, but it's not important. What happened to you? What happened to you this week, V? Talk to me.
Okay. Here we go. I wanted to do my little water cooler moment this week. That's what I call it, the water moment. The water cooler moment where you get around by the water cooler and talk about the TV shows you watch. Because that's all I do is watch TV shows. And if you talk to me like regularly, as Tom, you and I, we talk pretty much every day, you know that like you could talk to me about something, but I'm going to deliberately change the conversation to film and television because that's all I think about. That's all I talk about. That's like all I know, really. So anyways, I've been watching Loki. Last night was the new episode. And spoiler alert, I'm going to give away some spoilers about the show. So if you're watching the show, you know, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Because I'm going to totally give away spoilers about episode 2. So as you know from the trailer, if you watch the Loki trailer, he's this variant that is out of time. He's literally like an extra Loki. Like he's an extra Loki. And he's got like, he's basically has to become a time cop to solve the crime of who is the other variant, which is him, another fucking Loki. So I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's actually really good. The acting is fantastic. The storytelling is surprisingly really good. So they build it up, right? They have this build up, and episode 2 leaves you on this fucking cliffhanger that you're like, what? Right? And so the whole time, like, they tell you, like, all these Loki variants could be anything. Like, there's Lokis that are big giant monsters. There's Lokis that are like emo and shit, right? So there's all these different Lokis throughout this multiverse. And so finally they reveal the Loki that he's chasing, and it's a fucking chick, dude. It's a female Loki.
Oh, yuck.
So I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I was shocked because I was like, holy shit, it's a female Loki. I was not expecting that. And fucking, but then all of a sudden I got like very disgusted. Like, oh, here's the woke shit that they decided to throw in this really good show. And so I'm at this like moral dilemma, right? And this is why I wanted to bring this up and spoil it for you, is because I really like this show. Like Tom Hiddleston is bringing his fucking A game, and it's so good. Like even Owen Wilson, he's like pretty good. Like I'm impressed. And the story, it like has this build up, so you get to this point where you're like, dude, I want to know what happens next. And they even leave you on a fucking cliffhanger every episode. But then they throw in this woke shit, which could be woke shit. Like, we know Disney likes to do woke shit, and their last 2 Marvel movies were fucking woke shit. So it's kind of safe to assume this is some woke shit. But at the same time, here's my filmmaker's argument. Revealing that it was a woman, I was not expecting that. That threw me off my film analysis game. I was thinking, like, it's going to look like him. It's going to be another him, right? Like, we've seen that before, you know, like the one where it's 2 Jet Lis, right? But it threw me off, dude. And I was like, okay, you got me. Like, I'm impressed, you know, but like at the same time, I was like, are they doing this for the fucking female audience? And then they throw this. Okay, here's another thing that they throw in. They go, there was this big argument about who was the better Loki out of all the Lokis. And that's the debate when he finally meets the female Loki, is that she's the better Loki. So do you get where I'm going with this? Like, you can hear the fucking female writer like writing these dialogue. You know? So this is where I'm at. I like the show. I'm going to continue watching it. I'm invested. I have to finish it.
So now, does this chick Loki look anything like him?
No, she's blonde. She's a blonde chick. Girl with Loki outfit.
Oh, okay. So they have the outfit. That's how that you'd think they'd stand out in the crowd, right? The Loki outfit.
She has the horns, but they're not the same type of horns as Loki's.
But so it's like a bright green and black, right?
It's green and black. It's a variant. It's what you would call a different Loki in a different dimension. So it's actually a chick. You can't even make the argument that they just like gender swapped this character. No, it's a fucking multi-dimensional Loki that happens to be a female in that universe.
So, okay. Well, so but my question...
Like, well, but it was like, okay, wow, that's pretty good. I like that. I kind of like that it was a female.
So I'm with you. I get it. I read the Deadpool kills Deadpool, the multiverse Deadpool, which is kind of the same concept. But my question is, how does this female Loki, like, does she know that she's being pursued by this other Loki?
Yeah.
So why didn't she change her outfit?
Well, because they all know that they exist. So that's all Loki. Like, it's him. Like, that's what's crazy about, like, okay, now I'm giving away a lot of spoilers. That's what's crazy about the show is he has to find himself, right? So on this, like, subtextual level, this is him, like, turning into a hero. Like, not being bad Loki anymore. This Loki variant is actually going to be a hero. So he literally has to find himself as a time cop searching for a variant that is him, right? So who knows himself better than him, right? And that's why Owen Wilson character Mobius recruited him. So I'm essentially telling you what's happening, and I gave it all away. Like that was me giving it all away. Yeah. If you're not watching Loki, I recommend it. I'm enjoying it. I don't know about this woke shit, but I just love film, so I have to appreciate it for the fact that it's really well done.
Well, so maybe we'll do that from now on every week. You'll brief us on what happened on Loki the previous week. Be like, so what happened? What happened this week, V? And all you do is just spoil the whole thing.
I'm gonna watch it. I watch it like the second it comes out at midnight. That's how hardcore I am.
I get it.
I gotta be the first one.
I have all these Disney exclusive shows. I just haven't watched them yet, and I fully intend to at some point. I'm kind of saving them for a rainy day. When I'm like, I got nothing else to watch. Let me sit down and watch the Falcon and the Winter, the Falcon and the Woken Soldier, the Woken social justice warrior. That was a long reach for that joke. We got there eventually, though.
That's what that was. Yeah. Didn't you have something?
I do. I have a lot that we can talk about today because we got some big things that we can do. We got 2 different directions we can take this week. And I know I advertised that we were going to create an app together as a team, but maybe we'll do that next week because some big things have happened and we kind of have to prioritize some things. So if it ends up being the app, super. If it ends up being this other thing that really needs to be dealt with, that's cool too. But either way, it's going to be an interactive show where we're all involved. But there is something that I do want to talk about, something that did happen this week. Governor Abbott, right? We all know Governor Abbott, the differently abled governor of Texas. Is he the one
that he's missing a hand? He's missing his right hand, right? And then when he throws, he puts his catcher's mitt on his left hand.
He's always trying to cleverly disguise the fact that he's missing a hand by putting a ribbon somewhere on his body. So you're like looking at the ribbon, when you have a tumor like John McCain did, he would wear a ribbon on it to distract you from the tumor. You'd be like, oh, look at that ribbon. But in reality, there was a tumor behind it. And then also...
Didn't wear a ribbon. Really wear a ribbon.
No, that'd be ridiculous. No, but Dan Crenshaw does wear a ribbon on his eye patch to take away... On his other eye, I mean. So that, instead of looking at the eye patch, you're looking at the ribbon, and you're like... He can't see from either eye now, but you're not looking at the eye patch. It's a terrible strategy, but I assume his PR guy or his his publicist or whatever, they probably told him to go ahead and just throw the ribbon on and just in the middle of his interviews are like this. He's like,
they have to be.
Where
briefed.
Are we?
Oh man,
where's the camera?
They're all before you go in there and talk to him. Don't stare at the ribbon, okay? Because he's gonna notice. He's gonna ask you why you're looking at the ribbon.
No, the thing is, he won't know because his eyes are both covered. He's missing an eye over here. He's got a big old ribbon on the other one. He'll never know where you're looking. He'll just assume, be like, "You're looking at the ribbon, aren't you?" Or I mean, you're looking at the eye patch. You better be looking over at the ribbon. My joke that I was trying to do is where he doesn't know where the camera is. So he's always like, the people are talking to him, and he'll be like, so Dan, what do you think, Representative Congressman Crenshaw, what do you think about this new foreign policy that we're seeing from Joe Biden? And he's like, well, Jeff, no, Dan, I'm over here.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that goes down. But Governor Abbott, he's the one who's actually a cripple. And I don't know. I assume he had polio as a child.
Is that the right word?
No, I'm sorry. He's the retarded one.
Thank you.
No, he's the faggot. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah. We should just refer to all differently abled people as retarded. It doesn't matter your level of we're retarded.
Right.
We have mental issues. We're retarded. You know what I mean?
Well,
pretty much everybody. Retarded. What it comes down to, everybody has mental disorders, so everybody's retarded in some way.
The guy that's on the wheelchair, he's mobily retarded. The guy who's on crutches, he's casually retarded, temporarily retarded, perhaps you might say. Somebody in a cast, You
We're
know,
like what, we're like I
we
don't
would
know.
fall under psychologically
Socially,
retarded.
I was gonna say socially retarded
Oh,
for
that
me.
too.
I'm definitely socially retarded.
What about gay people? Would you say that they are sexually retarded? Or like the
No,
transgenders, they're sexually retarded?
no, isn't that's mentally retarded. They're
Oh,
mentally
that
retarded.
too. Yeah, that too.
If you're
Well, they're just
if
like
you're
all kinds of retarded. They're
mentally
like the
retarded,
Lucky Charms of retarded, just because they're just
they're
a
just
hot
all
mess. But anyways, this retarded guy,
right.
he signed a bill for the constitutional carry. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's when you can conceal carry without having a permit or having to have a background check beyond buying the gun, right? So, like, I personally, even though our state is a constitutional carry state, I like to have a concealed carry permit because that means I can go state to state, and states that have reciprocity with Kentucky, I can conceal carry there if they are not a constitutional carry. Well, Texas he just signed the bill to allow constitutional carry in Texas, and as of September, people are going to be able to do that. Now, the big thing, people will always push this nonsense where they say the police hate constitutional carry. They don't think that people should have this constitutional carry. Police, it hurts the police. The police, it makes them, blah, 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 blah. All this nonsense about using the police, the people that they wanted to fund, right, as like they're a crutch to their argument. And so the thing that I realized was I was like, you know what? I've never met a cop who doesn't like concealed carries and people who can legally concealed carry. Now, with constitutional carry, you still have to be legally be able to carry a gun to concealed carry. Now, the concealed carry, the permit that you have to go through, the paperwork you have to go through, it's really nothing any more elaborate than the background check that goes into buying a gun. So if you legally own a gun, you should legally be able to conceal carry it because you meet all the requirements anyways. So all these people, they say, well, the cops,
I agree with that.
it hurts the cops. The cops don't want everybody to have concealed carry. Turns everything into the Wild West and all this bullshit, which is just not true. I thought back to like all the cops that I've ever talked to, and I have a few friends who are cops here in the area, and anytime I've been out with them or they've been on a detail or something where they were working an event, and I'm not supposed to be carrying a gun in like a baseball field, for instance. Like we go to the minor league baseball field, and you're not supposed. It says please do not carry guns in here. It's not like a hard and fast rule or anything. It's just like a recommendation. They prefer that you not
fucking
carry
American
them.
as fuck.
Tell me about it. But I carry it anyways because I'm not going to be. I don't listen to. You know me. I don't listen to signs, right? Like I don't take my advice from signs. So, anyways, I carry my gun in there, and that dude that he happened to be working the gate. I'm like, oh, I'm glad it's you because I was afraid I was going to come in and they were going to make a big stink about me carrying or whatever. He's like, you're carrying? And I said, yeah, of course. And he said, good, because now I know who to look to if something happens. Like I know I've got an extra set of eyes who's got my back and so on and so forth. So, and that seems to be the general opinion of, all cops, like good cops. You know who doesn't like when people conceal carry? Shitty cops. And cops who are going to do something illegal or that are going to, maybe like or maybe kneel on a black guy's neck for 9 minutes, right? Because really imagine if somebody had a gun, they pull the gun on the police and say, get off his neck, and then it's going to turn into a standoff or whatever, but there's enough people to overpower those police. So it's the shitty cops that are upset about people being able to conceal carry. They want that edge over people because a cop has a gun and the right to carry a gun. The only thing that separates them and the people at that point is the badge, which is pretty much meaningless, right? Because we don't fear the badge, we fear the gun, right?
It's like a service. It's like okay, here's a thought. Like that's a really good point. Like, and it made me think of like why we pay cops. Like here's why we pay cops. Like this is why you're taxed, and this is what I think. Like I just don't have the energy or like really the drive to go out and like handle crime myself. Like I'd like to, like I want to be a crime fighter sometimes in the back of my head. I need to go clean up the streets. I need to go handle all this. That's what I think, right? I do. I start thinking, you know what, man, I need to get out there, but I just, I don't have the drive and motivation. Plus, no one's probably going to pay me for it either. So you get these guys to do it. You guys go clean up the streets, and you pay them, and they're supposed to do a job. And if they're not doing their job, that doesn't mean that you can't own a weapon. Like there's nothing against that. Like you could go do the same and be a vigilante, but you're not getting paid for it. So it's like, just let them do it.
Yeah. What separates at that point? What separates us from the police? And I think that's what it comes down to. Like this whole argument with calling mothers birthing people, right? It strips, and we talked about this in the Discord the other day, by changing the definition of certain words and essentially just taking over roles that previously belonged to somebody who that was their power, that was their thing. And all of a sudden you're taking that from them. I think that's probably the issue it's never the good cops that are upset about this. It's the ones that needed to be a cop because they got their asses beat in high school, right?
Yeah,
it's the cops. It's the dudes who like go home and whoop on their wives, right? It's the ones who need that power and need to be able to be like, I'm a police officer. Okay, well, what's the difference between you and me? You went to some academy for 6 months, and I just have trained on guns my whole life. I am more physically able. I'm more athletic than you. I probably have a better head on my shoulders than you do. The only thing that separates you and me is the uniform and the badge. Especially now that we've got this open carry and concealed carry. That doesn't separate us anymore. If you pull a gun on me and it's unwarranted and you're doing some crooked shit, I would shoot back. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain point where you have we respect the police officers because they have a very difficult job, and there's no doubt about that like I wouldn't want to do it either. But if there are some crooked cops out there, there's some dirty cops who will do some dirty shit. And if you have to kill a cop because they're doing some dirty shit and they pull a gun on you because of some shady shit that they were doing, I'm not going to judge you for killing a crooked cop. Is what it boils down to.
So this brings up like a really good point. Like it's perfect, like that we segued into this, because I think that like most Sigma and alpha males like are all John Wick at heart. Like all of us are like waiting for that moment when shit pops off that we get to be badass, that we get to be John Wick. And so we talked about, I shot out a tweet the other day, and I also noticed something that I Lack Tact just mentioned. He said, totally selling myself as a merc when society crumbles. Like that's my thought process, right? Like yesterday, I watched Green Hornet, the one with Seth Rogen, and the car in that movie is so fucking badass. It's this Lincoln or something. I forget what it is. I want to say it might be like a Buick. I think it's a Buick, but it's so tricked out and it's so fucking gangster with machine guns in the hood, missile launchers in the trunk, like everywhere, weapons. And I was like, dude, I want to do this to my car. I want my Challenger to have fucking rockets on it. Right? So it got me thinking like, okay, like when am I going to have the opportunity to use a weaponized vehicle, and be a badass, like put my, my costume together and my sword and all that and go out and like kill me some bad guys. Like, when am I going to get that opportunity? Right? Like I served in the army. I didn't get to go shoot anybody. I never got to do that. Not that that's exciting. Like there's a different excitement to like being forced to go to war as opposed to like having your own war that you fight, right? Like here's go kill some Hajis and over there and do this, and then we have like first,
we call them sandnoids here.
And so we have this opportunity, like our own, like this is the filmmaker in me, right? Like your self-discovery when you have to find out who you are and go to war, right, on your own terms. And this is like where that scenario would come in. And so my logic is the only way that's ever going to happen is if there's an apocalypse where like this coronavirus gets out of control. Next thing you know, we're fighting off reptiles or zombies, or an alien invasion from another dimension, another planet, or some sort where we have to like, for our own survival, like every day you turn the streets and there's an alien around the corner, right? And then of course my weeaboo mind goes to, well, maybe all of a sudden there'll just be monsters on the earth, right? Like the earth will spit forth creatures, right, on biblical proportions, right? And all of a sudden we have like fucking chimera and dragons that we have to fight off, right? Like this happens in movies and in video games all the fucking time. Why can't it happen to us on our fucking Earth, right? Like, 'cause it's just like, you would think that something of that sort or nature would happen by this point, where we'd have to like go to battle,
well, sir, that time is fast approaching. As
I think you might be right.
as you said, we're using this as a segue, I guess. And Mike is already chewing me out because I haven't taken my shot yet. So
we have to
also
finish the duel.
Oh, are we still doing that?
Yeah, you're early. Well, that was our segue to the topic, I guess. But we don't have a topic today. We're fluid.
We do.
So do your shot. Address the folks in the chat.
We do have the topic, but I do want to say this too. They were doing some pretty funny Mad Max between I Lack Tact and Vra Moment. They were doing this Mad Max and then talking about maybe not like really mad because he wants to retain his family, so just annoyed, really annoyed Max, and then peeved Max. And mine, I wanted to jump in with mine. Mine was ticked off Max because good. I wanted to take it all the way down to like a G rating type one and see how low I could get it.
For the British, it'd be bothered Max because he's just a bit
buggered off.
Buggered Max. That's a good. I like it.
But here's to what are we cheersing to?
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
And the apocalypse, the end of the world. Let's cheers to the end of the world.
To the end of the world.
Yeah. Cheers. Is that your horse?
Yeah.
Making that noise?
That's Diesel in the back there. And let's go ahead and say hi to everybody in the chat. Yeah, listen to him. Listen to him go over there. Dace.
You tell that
Diesel,
dog.
For those at home who don't know my dog. Welcome to the chat. The combo breaker. Combo breaker, James Bregler, right? Who overtook Steren. Mike in Manitoba, who congratulations are in order. He got himself a new car.
Nice.
Buzz Busby, J Dubs, Michael Wolf, Jacob, Vra Moment, I Lack Tact, Bodacious, and last but certainly not least, the cock wrangler, Megabit Banshee.
I love it when the whole gang is here, man. I love that. It's good to see all you. Well, I guess I can't see you, but it's good to know you're there. I appreciate that you guys show up. I know that's for the shill at the end of the show, but just so you guys know, I do appreciate you guys all being there. It always makes it a much more enjoyable experience. Is that too gay? Was that gay? That wasn't gay, right?
At all. Not even a little bit. Let me see if I can get. See, there's Diesel.
Bugger Max. Yeah.
All right. What are we talking about this week, V? I know, we were going to do the app, but the other opportunity was we were going to talk about end of days scenario given alien invasion.
Yeah.
We need to. So I think what we should do, I think as a group, team, You Had Me at Bigfoot, working title, we'll come up with a better name later. Maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But something like a team plan that we have for when the end of times comes, when the aliens arrive, and maybe not even the end of times. Maybe this is a transitional period in which we are invited into the Galactic Federation, and we, the Resistance, decide to travel to the alien homeworld and kill their women and children and differently abled who were unable to go on and fight in the intergalactic war. Maybe they're elderly as well. But what is our plan as a team? Who has what roles? I think regular. You know what? Everybody in the chat today has a special role, and we're going to determine that and create a plan. So
I'd like to add too that like that's not going to happen. Like they're not going to show up and like I know that you want to like it's going to happen in the way that you want, but not in the way that you think. They're not going to show up and invite us to no federation. That is not going to happen. I guarantee you, if there are aliens that are traveling the cosmos and dimensions, they are far more evolved than we are. We can't do that. We can't do that shit. If they can travel to our planet from another dimension or another planet, then they are much more evolved than us. And that, to me, says they're not going to show up, and we're going to be like ants to them, like squirrels. They're like, oh, look at this little monkey creatures that like they built these buildings or whatever. Let's kill them. Let's just destroy them all. That's what they're gonna do. It's gonna be like Tim Burton's Mars Attacks.
I like how you're like, they built these little buildings, and then like the other guy's like, but Jerry, we have buildings on our planet. Like you're just pointing at things that we also have that are maybe less advanced, but you know, you're picking on them for shit that we do also.
Yeah. Yeah, but they'll probably see them as like squirrels that like build houses and trees and shit. They'll be like, they like live in like another dimension, you know? Like think about that. If they live in another dimension or another planet. I guess it's safe to say that if they are on our level of evolution, well, no, they couldn't be. An alien race has to be type 2 civilization. It has to. That's how you become a type 2 civilization, is colonizing your galaxy. And we are not even close, dude. Elon Musk is barely getting us to Mars.
Like he's barely. Not even. Yeah,
he's not even. He's not even getting us to Mars. So that's not what's going to happen, dude. I assure you. So we need to start preparing. Like you need to know what. Like this is. I think this should be our like prepare for alien invasion episode. Like what are you going to do? How are you going to handle this threat? Because it's going to happen at some point. And then you had something about why, right? Didn't you? Why it's going to happen?
Why
or
is
how,
it going to happen?
or soon why it's soon.
Oh well, so here's the thing, here's the poop, and here's so I took some notes actually, and by the way, Jamis, welcome to the chat. He has already brought up some Snopes article about how you can't bang aliens or whatever. That's just not true. The thing about banging aliens is like, you know, you could bang a. If I were to say, oh, I'm going to go fuck this book, you could be like, we can't fuck a book. And I'd be like, well, I bet I could. You know, and you'll find a way to fuck a book, right? Like, yeah, a horny enough guy is going to be able to find a way to fuck a book. Even if it's like slathering it in ketchup and then closing it a little bit around his erect penis and just working it like a fleshlight, you can fuck a book. Like,
as long as there's an orifice. You know, all you need.
Not even an orifice.
Fuck anything.
What if it's an octopus type creature and you just fold one of the tentacles over and work the tentacle over your dick?
Okay.
Who knows? You know, there's, like that's I said,
graphic. I get what you're saying.
The idea that you can't fuck an alien, if somebody ever tells you can't fuck an alien, or anything for that matter, if they tell you you can't do such and such, all you have to do is say, well, not with that attitude. You can pretty much find a way to do anything, and especially if you broaden your definition.
I don't know why you want to, though. I don't imagine they're going to look like us.
Well, no,
they're not.
I think aliens are going to be more like an octopus. I think that's probably.
I think so. Huh?
I do, or bug-like. I think they're going to be very bug-like. Bug-like or octopus? I'm okay.
You know what they might look like us? They might have like altering, like what is shape-shifting abilities.
They could.
Like Martian Manhunter from the fucking DC. He's probably like might be kind of close to what I imagined. Only like reptile-ish too a little bit, but then like can change humans. You know. So then I mean banging aliens when they can shapeshift, you just shapeshift into whatever. You know. Like remember that Morty. When he's banging, he's like, I need 40 redheads on the field.
Yeah. You're talking about Unity.
Unity.
So I have a few questions to kind of get us into this conversation here.
Okay, all right.
And I think because what happened, you asked why or what had happened or when or whatever.
Yes, of course.
The Intelligence Committee in Congress, to include Adam Schiff for some reason, I don't know why he's on that. But he's the head of it, as a matter of fact. But they went into a meeting where they received the briefing from the FBI and the Navy about these UFOs, right? That was today. They went into the SCIF, which stands for something classified.
Sure.
Anyways, it's a place you go into. You're not allowed to bring your phone. Nothing can penetrate it. Like, it's surveillance proof, right? And that's where they keep all the really juicy stuff. And so anyways, they went in and they had to do that briefing. They got the briefing from the FBI and the Navy. And some of it's hard to tell because some of them came out and they had a real good poker face. Like they kind of talked to the press and they were like, well, you know, I think you're going to be disappointed with the findings. But then some other people were like, Adam Schiff, right? Everybody is aware of aliens, right? we're aware of the prospect, the possibility of aliens.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
something that is like
There's no
new
time.
even in the
Yeah.
science fiction community.
Yeah, the whole world knows that aliens could exist.
Right. Adam Schiff came out and he said, I learned some things that frankly I just had no idea. There were some things that I do not understand. There are some things that just blew my mind, blah 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 blah. And I mean, this is a dude who's a fucking he's already a weirdo, and like I guarantee.
Can you credit him? Can you give him some credit? Like, is he not a moron? Like, could you say that his statement is
He's not a moron. He is a villain. Okay, he's a bad guy. Like, he hated Donald Trump. He was always trying to get Donald Trump. He was that guy who was always pushing this impeachment thing, which again is kind of like puts him on a watch list for me. Like, what is he hiding? Come to find out, he's buddy with a guy who murdered a bunch of gay guys over the last couple years. But Ed Buck, I believe, is the guy's name. But yeah, they're like buddies, and he's got some weird shit in his history. So I think the fact that this dude is kind of like, there's some stuff that I just didn't understand. There was some really weird, mind-blowing shit and some stuff that I have to go home and think about and whatever. Another congressman who's been pushing for disclosure, and he's been pushing this UFO program, he came out and he was like, hey, we learned a lot today, some big things, blah, 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 blah. And we look forward to releasing the information to the public, whatever. So this stuff, it's all happening kind of fast. It's happening very, like, faster than I thought it would. As much as, like, over the years we've gotten little snippets of stuff. Right now it's happening kind of very quickly and like one after the next, one disclosure, one small thing after the next, when previously, we'd have to wait years between each little nugget that they would give us, right?
Right.
So my question is, why now? Like, what is going on right now that the government is giving us all this stuff, like rapid fire? What is going on that they're trying to either distract us from, or why is this all of a sudden they can't wait any longer? They have to give us this information. Like, what do you think it is right now that's causing them to react differently and treat this situation differently? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. I think it's definitely a distraction. Like, there's no doubt about that's like 101, right? Next, or what do they call it? Day one shit. Yeah. Like rookie ass shit. Like, come on. Obviously, it's a distraction. Like, why on earth would they tell us something so big like that if they weren't trying to keep our attention? Like, that's what the media is, right? The media is all distraction. In fact, I'll go as far and say that every screen that you look at is distraction from, like, the real world, right? Like, that's my take on it. But, like, in this context, yes, it's probably a distraction. So you have to think about the big things that are going on, and then there are obviously things that we don't know about. I heard an interesting quote on Loki, actually. He mentioned that he made a point. He said, rules are only for the little people, right? Rules are only for the little people. So you have these politicians in power, right? And not just our country, right? All over the world that aren't telling their people anything. Like, it's like there's more than just aliens out there, obviously, right? And here we are, the little people going, oh, well, somebody said on the internet that blah, 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 blah. But we've never seen it with our own physical eyes. We can't say that this happened, whatever this situation is that they're keeping from us, right? Because we don't know. We can only speculate based on rumors and, conspiracy theories, which is why, guys like us, we get together on this podcast and we speculate as we do, So I think, I don't know, like, it's one of those things you can shrug your shoulders and go, with who's in charge of our country right now, there's probably so much shit that is being held from us, like, ridiculous amount. Like, think about this. Here's something else to think about. Like, when a bill passes, like, and it's 500 pages, like, yeah. Think about all that shit that they know. Like, they're never going to read this. No one's ever going to read this. We can just pass whatever. And right now, the House rules fucking Democrat, so they can just pass anything. Like, right now, like, everything's just passing through. Like, yeah, maybe you'll get some money here and there from some CARE Act or whatever. But, man, there's some weird shit going on that you have no idea. No idea. like giving money to other countries, going into debt with China. Like, I don't know, man. My theory is that like we're either heading towards world government, which is kind of inevitable, or it's something like much more diabolical, something that like you might consider like what's happening, like some fucking demonic, like they're worshiping the devil, and like there's some evil shit going on that like apocalyptic levels is going to happen soon. That's my theory. That's what I speculate. Again, that's how I see whatever.
I think you're right, and I'm going to sit here and agree because you just kind of like blew through my next several questions. I was going to ask you kind of vaguely, like, is it this? Is it possibly that? You know, like I was going to do that number with you, but you kind of just blew through them all. So, and then also Mattsquatch, welcome to the chat. Hello, boys.
Nice.
And then some other people, I believe it was James Pregler and Mattsquatch, both touched on it. The New World Order. And then uniting. See, I had what's the end game into? Is it to unite us as a nation, or perhaps a world under this new world order, the world government? And then by doing that, right? If they create a potential enemy, see, they've already framed it as such by saying these UFOs pose a threat to our national security.
Interesting.
They've already painted these aliens or whatever, these other entities.
A wag the dog scenario, right?
Well,
is that what you're saying? Am I getting ahead of you?
Maybe. I think it could be one or the other. I think it could be a wag the dog scenario where it's either it's all fake or they're just taking credit for something that you know, an actual UFO entity, but they don't know what it is and they're going to use it as a boogeyman. Or it is in fact a boogeyman. Or they want us to unite, so they're going to assume that it's a boogeyman, and that's how they're going to paint it to us as a potential boogeyman. So that we decide, all right, well, Democrats, Republicans come together, white people, black people come together, gays, straights come together. You know, like they're going to do this whole John Lennon Imagine situation.
But that's a shitty method. That's like shitty method.
Is it? If you say, hey, you guys, I know you don't like each other, and I know you've got problems with one another, but you've got bigger problems. Because, look, there's these aliens, and we need to focus on that. So if we could squash this small fry shit for now,
that is the Ozymandias protocol from Watchmen. Create the enemy that brings the whole world together, right? He created this fucking disaster, and then it brought the world together. Like, that's why at the end of, and spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil another movie for you or comic. At the end, Dr. Manhattan, he doesn't stop him because he knows that's what needs to be done, right? So he tells him, like, yeah, he could have stopped him, but he didn't. And so it's interesting because that brings up a good argument, like a really good argument. I'm going to play the devil's advocate in this one. For us to combat an alien force, like if it is true that we are on the precipice of alien invasion, we have to unite as a world, because these fools will come down and pick us off like motherfuckers, each little country quarreling amongst themselves while the aliens show up and just fucking reap everything like the fucking Grim Reaper. And that's my thoughts on the matter. I know people are like, oh, world government, that's terrible. I don't like the idea at all, like of that, but like, really, what does government do for you other than be corrupt? Like, man, like, fuck government. You know what I mean? Like it's always corrupt. There's always corrupt people. So no matter what you do that is a bureaucracy, whether it's the United States government or your fucking little office with your pals, there's going to be some politics involved, and someone's going to be corrupt and abuse their power. That's just what happens. that's like life, I guess. Human beings are neither fully good or fully bad. That's what somebody said. But I think
it was Jesus.
Yeah, it was Jesus.
Or Gandhi, Jesus. One or the other.
Yeah. No, it was probably Loki, actually. I think I saw it on Loki. So it was still a god, I mean, if you want. But yeah, dude, I think that we'll have to unite as a world to fight aliens. So if it is that gambit, if that's what they're doing, if they're trying to trick us into looking other ways so they can pull some other shit, why would they need to do that when they don't have to tell us anything? You know, like, it's kind of, but I do get, like, it could be like a media tactic where something happened that they need us to forget about, right? The 24-hour news cycle, where they're like, oh, some weird shit happened that we need to like bury in the media, and somebody got the story out, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe Biden's emails, Biden's emails with the N-word, that was a hot thing this week. That, like, come on, like any other president, they'd be calling for impeachment. Like, if Barron Trump had said that, they'd be calling for impeachment. Like, could you imagine? I know, and it's horrible because those kids, they're so classy. All of, like, Barron Trump.
You're talking about Hunter? Yeah, Hunter. He's a classy dude.
No, not Hunter. That dude's a fucking jabroni. He's like the definition of a jabroni. If you open the dictionary, there's a picture with his crack pipe and all.
He's like he's under a bunch of definitions. It's like crack cocaine abuse. There he is. Regular cocaine abuse. There's his picture again. Taiwanese ladyboy hooker enthusiast. There's a picture of Hunter. Like, he's just on every other page because there's some kind of vice that Hunter Biden basically wrote the book on. So with this, how intolerant are you? Let's see your level of intolerance. And I don't want you to play the devil's advocate here. I want you to be honest with me.
Okay, all right.
If in fact we were looking at an alien invasion, let's just say it like this. Let's say the government told us we were on the verge of alien invasion and we needed to come together as a people and we needed to surrender, because we've seen how well surrendering powers to the government because of an emergency declaration, we see how easy it is to get that power back from them after this whole COVID scenario. What happens when the government says we are on the verge of alien invasion and we need you to relinquish all these emergency powers to the government, and then we also need to umbrella it under one world
massive surrender. You're talking massive surrender.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Because that's what they're going to do. That's what will happen. They'll demand. Well, they'll do it like this. They'll ask politely. They'll say, "Hey, this is what's going to happen. They're going to, eat your family. They're going to turn you inside out, and they're going to squish your dogs with their giant robot feet." But that's what they're going to tell you in order to get you to say, "Please, just do whatever you need to do. Take away all our liberties. We'll hide in our basements and shit." Because we saw this happen on a much smaller scale with COVID, right? That's what they're going to ask of us. And then at a certain point, it's going to be demanded of us, and not by the government. It's going to be demanded of us by people who have already surrendered those liberties. They're going to start talking to you. What are you doing out and about? You're supposed to be home. The curfew's at 8 o'clock, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be all this bullshit. But under this presentation of we need to come together as a planet in order to combat this alien invasion, how willing are you to jump on board with that and lock arms with the Somalis, right? Or the, I don't know, the Lebanese and the Libyans and all them.
But damn well, dude, we're not going to do that. You and I, we've had this discussion before. We're not going to do that. If it comes to that, I guarantee you, this is my thought and this is my opinion, but a world government is inevitable. It's going to happen. That is going to happen. But once it comes to that point where it's like alien invasion and our lives are at stake, you and I know what's going to happen. We turn into, I put on the costume that I've carefully picked out off of Amazon. I'm going to put together what weaponry I have. I'm going to get in touch with you. We'll meet up and then, rebel. We will rebel so fucking hardcore that everybody in our path will just be cut a swath. So I think what's going to happen. And the fact of the matter is that at that point, it's going to be a global apocalypse because nobody is going to go, well, I'll just fucking let them kill me and have my babies. And the ones that do have my baby, because that could happen too. They're going to go, we're just going to impregnate your race. That's what we're going to do. That way you guys start. I'm not going to let no alien show up and try to bang me and impregnate me.
It's going to be those face huggers from Aliens, but it's going to be on your butt. And they're gonna lay the eggs into your butt, and then you have to birth their butt xenomorphs. That's how it's gonna happen. I've read the books. I've seen the movies, the documentary Aliens.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
So what do we do, V? Well, talk to me. How are we gonna? So this is our transition to plan. Yeah.
I imagine we'll still be in contact when that happens. We'll probably be still assholes. The same guys, maybe doing a podcast or whatever. And I imagine you'll find out before me, and I'll be like, oh shit, like really? Like that happened? And he'll be like, yeah, dude, look at fucking this, or look at the new, look out the window. And I'll look out the window, and I'll be like, holy shit, dude, there's an alien spaceship sitting out here, right? And I'll be like, holy shit. And then we'll have to like gather our armaments, and prepare ourselves, right? I have like multiple things that I've gotten off, like, okay, this is me preparing for any apocalypse and any chance to like defeat a bad guy, is like I've purchased things on Amazon that are like tactical gear. I have like, I'm a big fan of cutlery, so I prefer swords, even guns. Like I would shoot maybe a handgun in battle, but I'm hoping that I could use my katana, because that's what I want to do. Like having a katana, you don't get the opportunity to, cut somebody up with it. Yeah, I could go cut some bamboo or whatever, and that's fun. But I want to like go through flesh and take out some bad guys. And the problem is that, you can't just go around killing people. Sure. You can't just go around testing out your katana and go, yeah, that chopped his head off pretty good. So instead, I have to wait for an alien invasion. And that is my opportunity, my friend. That is my opportunity. And that's when we get together. I'm going to take the Challenger. I'm going to gun it out to Kentucky as fast as I can, brave what roads I can, depending on where. And I'll have to do it alone, too, assuming my dad's still around. If my dad's still around, then I'm bringing the old man. And then we're going to probably bunker down at your place. And that's where you have the armory. So that you'll be the next step in our rebellion, whatever you have.
Your weapon is katana.
Lead the rebellion, I'll lead the rebellion, but I'm more of a like, I play the shadows, like I'll hide out. I like to be the guy behind the guy that goes, hey, this is what we should do, the tactician,
So I have to. So I have to be the
prettier face than me. That you would be a better rebel leader than me. So
well, I like
you have the charisma. People like you.
Well, I'm going to say thank you for those compliments. They're appreciated.
Well, it's the politics of it, right? Like there's always politics. Well, so we need a rebel leader.
So I guess I need to come up with a plan, like a very what I'll do is I'll go ahead and have to prepare a speech. I'm going to write that down. Things that I have to do to prepare for this inspiring speech, right? And make sure my guns are clean.
But something along the lines of today is our independence.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, and I could help you with that. That could be like the stuff that I get you. I groom you. I'd be like your Nancy Reagan, dude. I could totally groom you into the rebel leader that we need you to be.
My video froze.
You freeze?
Yeah, my video's frozen. That's unfortunate. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll go ahead and.
Fake face? Do you have a face you can put instead?
Yeah, I wonder if I can. You're sitting here talking about how how handsome I am and shit.
Yeah, and then it just freezes on you. There you go. Now we have the other angle. Now you can do that joke from the beginning again, the callback.
The Crenshaw one.
Return. Turn it again. No, that one's frozen too.
Yeah, it keeps freezing. What is going on here? It's the aliens.
Bruh Moment said, the aliens cannot beat us. We have V and anime on our side. Exactly. He gets it. This guy gets it. Yeah. But I would need you to be the rebel leader, essentially. Like, I'm going to need you to, like, be the face of our rebellion against the aliens. And people will follow you, and I'll, like, make all that happen, dude. I'm like your tactician. Like your, I don't know, who was Oda Nobuna's tactician? Does anybody know that? He was the Japanese guy that, like, he ruled Japan. He brought them all together. But I would be that guy for you. I would, and then eventually, when it all went down, I'd stab you in the back and take over leadership and just rule with an iron fist. Once we're in control, I would do rule with the iron fist. I'd become Darth V, essentially.
Once all the legwork is done.
Yeah, once all the legwork is done, yeah. But I would definitely need you to be the face of the rebellion. So I hope everybody else is okay with that. Because that's how I would see it. I'd be like, this man, follow this man. There'd be posters of you with, like, hope at the bottom and,
So we need posters as well.
Yeah. Why don't you just leave it on the frozen shot?
Because that's terrible. That's
I know.
Poor production value. Here,
I
think I've got it figured out.
That's good. Yeah, there you go. That works. You figured it out.
Got it. All right. Self-correcting. Yeah. All right. So posters.
I gotta
posters
ask you, what's your next step? I show up at your house at the door, me and my old man in tow, and I'm going, it's time, dude. It's fucking time. It's time to rebel.
I think this is a question for the crowd. Where do we go? Right? Where is our safe haven? Where is our best defense from the alien menace? Like, what location are we converging on as a team? And I think
unite the rebels.
My idea has always been there's two things that you have to have, right? You want your back to the water. Not that it really matters for aliens, though. Back to the water is always good for like earthly type enemies, right? So like if we had some kind of civil war, or we had some kind of invasion from a foreign army, you'd want your back to the water. But that really doesn't matter with aliens, right?
No.
So I would say, and I'm going to pull a trick from Far Cry 5. They had a nuclear bunker, or they had the nuclear silo is where they converged. So we would have to find a decommissioned nuclear silo, preferably.
Yeah, we'd have to pull some Muslim Baal Terminator salvation maneuver, as it was saying. So yeah, and I like where you went when you went to the video game, because I have an argument that like people don't realize that video games are actually turning people into like tactical minds. Like, dude, like seriously, like if you game online with other players, you have a tactical mind, I assure you. You know, because you've played, especially if you play video games like I do, just constantly, like for hours on end, and like the same game for like okay, like I'm playing a game right now and I have like 400 hours logged, and it's been like a week. It's been like a week or some shit, which is impossible, right? But like I have that much hours logged, and okay, I was telling this to my dad the other day. I said, hey Dad, I said, you know why like I have such a high IQ is because I had to take these logic tests, and they make you figure out patterns. I go, you know where I learned all that from? Fucking video games. I've been playing video games since I was 10 years old, and so I recognize patterns like really fast. That's why like I can play a boss and go, oh, he's gonna do this next, he's gonna do that next. I know all the moves, right? And that's how it would be in the case of an invasion, is I'd be the one advising you, going, look, this is what their next move is going to be. We got to plan ahead for that. And then you would execute as the leader. You know, but first you'd have to bring us together under a flag. You'd have to unite us. You'd have to unite us under a flag, dude.
And you know what unites people?
Call up all the folks from, you know, the UK that we're cool with, and, you know, get it all started. Bring the rebels to this place.
So there's one thing that unites people like nothing else, and that's safety and security. So that's our first. I think that's what's going to win people over, and that's what's going to give people comfort, is the safety and security. So nuclear silo. I've been people have brought some stuff up in the chat. Joseph Breyer says, and then also Mattsquatch brought up the Amish. Mattsquatch recommended the Amish, which kind of goes in line with Joseph Byer's hide in plain sight, which I like. And I think of that sound movie. What's A Quiet Place, where they just live on a farm, and they just, you know, the aliens don't really bother them. But then also Jordan Davis brought up an interesting one: coal mines. My only issue with coal mines is the exit. You want so confined spaces means there's really only one entrance and egress, and that kind of puts us in a bind, which I guess is kind of the same situation with the nuclear bunker. So I don't know. This is something that we might have to work out, but I do like the idea of Joseph Byer and Mattsquatch presented about hiding in plain sight, maybe with the Amish, because the Amish are going to have land. They're going to have areas that we can, fall back to and at least regroup at that point. So I think that would be a great, and you think of The Walking Dead, they moved around a lot. They went from, they started off just kind of out in the outskirts of the city, then they ended up in a prison, and then they ended up in a town that was just kind of cordoned off, and then a suburban neighborhood that was being built, and then they fenced it off. So I think that being on the move might also be beneficial too. So obviously, if we all decide to converge on an Amish community, I think that's probably our bet, because we could probably beat the Amish if they didn't let us in.
The Amish, okay, I'm cool with that. And I was actually like hesitant about a nuclear, like, okay, here's my thoughts on my tactical advice. Like, first of all, like, it's not really going to matter where you are when it comes to aliens. Like, you could hide in a bunker, but I'm sure they have bunker busting weapons. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they're coming from the sky, they're going to have laser beams that'll shoot down like on Independence Day and just obliterate the earth. And so we have to, find somewhere where we can meet and execute a assault like right away. Like, we'll have to like literally assault as soon as they attack us, or as soon as, like, even preemptively would be ideal. Like, if we know like the moment the president goes on, like Biden, right, and he's like, we're officially a world government now and we're surrendering to the aliens, that's when you call me, I go get you, we get everybody together right now and we stage an assault like right away. Like, it's time to take out these aliens. It's time. They want us to surrender. So we'd have to do it right away, because if we gave them a chance to attack us, our planet would be obliterated, I'm guessing. Or like, I'm sure they would assume an uprising, but I don't know. It's a tough road. We need a lot of people.
Here's the thing.
We need soldiers, man. Soldiers.
I don't need anybody with what the Rock says on Doom. He says, I need soldiers. I don't need anyone else but soldiers. That's kind of the position that we're going to be in at that point.
Yeah.
To quote a movie that is widely hated. I like Doom, though. I like Doom, the movie. So judge me however you
Can we do, I also had a thought. Can we do, for our flag, can we do that meatwad symbol with him giving the middle finger? The one that I have on the back of my car?
Yep, I'm drawing it up right now.
Yeah. Just meatwad. Or what do you think? Is there something better that you think?
No, I like it.
It's just meatwad with a middle finger.
Yeah, it's gonna look. It'll look something like. Let's see here. Do a little circle behind it. It'll look like the hamburger helper, little middle finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
And okay. What we call ourselves? What is our union of alien fighting forces?
Is that? Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this, V, and I want you to be honest with me, and I don't want you to take any offense from it. Is this a priority? Is having a name a priority, or is this something that we can put behind other things like logistics?
No, it's politics. We have to have everybody unite. We need at least a name, and then we can go forward with our assault.
Well, I accept. Let me get somebody in the chat. I need somebody emotion. I need somebody emotion for a second.
Yeah, somebody
and then we can discuss names.
Yeah.
Wolverines. We already have James Pregler's already wants Wolverines.
Yeah, Wolverines. I'm cool with Wolverines. I'm cool with that.
I'm as somebody who wants to who was arguing even having names being a topic of discussion, being priority. I'm okay with Wolverines as well, just for right now at least. I mean, what'll eventually happen, and I know this is going to happen at some point. We are going to splinter, right? Because that's what happens with all good groups. They Sigma Raiders. That's another one.
I like it.
But we splinter because there's going to be issues. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some people who don't like the way things are being run. They're not going to like the fact that every single time we hold a meeting, it's just a bunch of movie references and us laughing and making jokes.
I like convoluted names, though. Like that are just like over exaggerated, and then you could call them like, an acronym, like I don't know, colossal over cordial killers, and then you just call it us cocks.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to go with cum, so like courageous, united men, and then in parentheses women and children or whatever. So it's like cum and then like a bunch, and that's it. We don't even have to include the women and children.
I am cool with that.
We can just push them off to second-class citizens, right next to the handicaps, the physically retarded. We can go that route. So come as well. These are all options that I think are on the table. Do we want cum? Do we want cock? Do we want Wolverines or Sigma Raiders? Sigma Raiders. I'm writing all these down so I can ask the Twitter later, and we can we can allow the Twitter community.
Okay, we got it. We need a plan now, though, dude. I need to know what you're.
That's what I was saying earlier, and you were like, "No, we got to talk about names. We got to talk about."
We need a name. We need a name. Yeah, so we can refer back to our assault team when we are talking about the assault.
So, Mattsquatch has a couple here. TWAT, Tactical Weapons Assault Team. That's pretty good.
I think Vrum is on fire. That dude is funny. The men from Smegma.
Smegma. It's a good one, too. Men from Smegma. What does Smegma stand for?
Well, I don't know. It's still jizz. Smegma's still jizz.
Smegma is not jizz. It's a different thing. It's a different composition, and it's predominantly like dick cheese.
Cheese. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's from like the uncircumcised penis when you don't wash it.
Oh, come on.
That's what Smegma is. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you a fact.
You had to correct me.
Men from Smegma. I didn't want anyone to think that we didn't know what Smegma was. It's important that people know.
We have to know. Yeah.
All right, so we got Men from Smegma. I'm partial to Men from Smegma, especially since we don't have what Smegma stands for. I think that's especially funny.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, it doesn't mean anything, but it's the man from Uncle, the Men from Smegma. I think that's pretty funny. And then, because who's going to ask, really, in the middle of an alien invasion, when we're trying to save the world, who's going to be like, you guys call yourself what? The Men from Smegma. And they're going to be like, okay. And then that's it. Because they're going to be like, we have other stuff that's kind of like pressing right now than to discuss what Smegma stands for.
Did you see Jameson's Freedom Against Gray Space?
Fags. That's pretty good. Fags. I like fags too. I like fags too. I want somebody to like cut that out of context and be like, Tom, did you say I like fags too? Yes, I did. So these are all good choices, and I like them all. I don't even feel like I have to contribute anything except for I did say come. So
what an awesome contribution from our great audience.
See, this is why I wanted it to be an interactive episode, because we're able to have these kind of these funny things. Who said Men from Smegma? Because for a moment. You're going to have to tell me who you are, like, on Twitter, so that I can...
Yeah, that dude's funny.
Because we don't know necessarily who some of you guys are, because you do, like, you jump from one account to the other. Yeah. Like, Mike says, we all know you like them, Tom, because I said I like fags.
Good one.
Mike, Mike, I'll tell you what, I have to say this, and I know you're the same way. I appreciate the hell out of Mike for getting that shirt, the M-File shirt. That's pretty cool of Mike to have, to be sporting our merch. And then, granted, it was a show that was based on the likeness of him and based on his recommendations and shit. So really, it was his show, but we were just on it. It's Mike's world. We just live in it. So who in the chat is proficient at what weapons? Please let us know in the chat, like, what type of weapons I can mark you down for.
Yeah, that's a good...
And then also,
am I gonna have... That's a good question. I'm curious now if I'm going to have anybody in my swordsman team. Because I want to have knife wielders with me, ninjas and shit.
What is the Japanese word for swordsman? It's from that game that I used to like to play, but I forget what the game is called. What's the Japanese word for sword? Kenji?
It's kenshi. The word for sword is ken, and shi is, it's not man. It means something else. I forget. Kenshi. Someone will have to ask me that. I know that kansai means like sword saint. So that's what I am. That's what I am. I'm like a god of the sword.
You know what I am? What's the word for retarded in Japanese? Because I'm sword retarded.
I'll tell you what it is. It's baka yaru. And if you're a Yakuza, you go baka yaru. That is the actual word. It means dumbass. Actually, it means dumbass. Baka yaru. Because that's how they do it on the anime that I watch, so I know because I hear it all the time.
I am Ken Bakarayu. Is that what I am?
Oh, man. It's funny when you know words like that, but you can pronounce them. Like, I specifically practiced that word because I wanted to sound like the Yakuza guy. And they all sound like that. Baka yaru.
Well, it's the same guy who does the voice for all these characters,
It is
right?
literally the same guy for every anime. It really is.
So has anyone? Okay, so we've got Mattsquatch is. I'm going to mark him down as. For a moment says he's an expert marksman and sex pest. So,
no.
On what weapon though? Besides your penis, I assume is the sex pest portion. So rapist and he's our resident rapist. Like we got him. We got expert marksman. I'm gonna assume that has something to do with his penis also.
Jurassic Week says he's a master batter. I assume that means he's good with baseball bats.
So I'm gonna put him down for master. I'm gonna put him for master
the
batter.
Innuendo.
And then we've got Mattsquatch, the only one who took it seriously. Tactical carbine. And shotgun. Leaves our options open so we can, if we need to move him from one team to the other. Because what I want to do is I want to create our teams, our rifle, our squads, right? So we're going to have the rifleman, the grenadier, the team leader, point, that sort of stuff. We can build our teams based on some of this information.
Yeah. Good. Man, I'm telling you, video games and being in the army, like, we can do this.
I was going to say, that's not necessarily a video game thing. That was actually infantry tactics and maneuvers, but whatever, like we can, at least some of these other guys will be able to recognize the ones who play. I forgot that, like, a lot of our friends of the show, they were also military. So
yeah, it's great, man. That's a huge boon. That means our invasion had just like rose in percentage of chance. Like, we just got higher in chance of like fighting off these aliens because we know a lot of other soldiers. It's like Transformers, dude. Like, you get fucking, what's his name, Tyrese. You call him up on the phone while he's working on his fucking car, and you go, "It's time, dude. The fucking Decepticons are here." Which, if it's Decepticons, we're fucked, dude. I don't care what you think.
Mike, I think we'll be okay. I have faith in our team.
Unless Optimus Prime shows up and unites with us, then we're fucked.
Well, I have faith in our team because you can go ahead and call me Optimism Prime because I have faith in our team against the Decepticons.
Negatron.
Yeah, you're a big old Negatron right now. You're being a Negatron. You're being a Negatron Nancy right now. But I do remember, Mike says that he's not bad at hand-to-hand combat, but I do remember Mike was also long-distance shooter, so I'm going to put him down for that, too. Long distance. But also, I think it's really funny to imagine Mike doing hand-to-hand combat, and he ends up being, like, this, like, whirlwind of combat. You know what I mean? Like, he ends up being, like...
Yeah, but I need this is great that we have all these guys that are like, yeah, I'll shoot guns. But
I just told you, Mike said that he does hand-to-hand.
Like, I will handle espionage. Like, give me an espionage team. I need people that know how to, like, hide in the shadows, man. Like, get into the alien spaceship. Like, I'll be the one destroying the core. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have to get whatever the core is in this scenario. If there is one, I'll have to be the one that takes a fucking espionage team in. So,
and I'll just be back at the...
That's gotta come with me.
I'll tell you what, when you guys go out and do your espionage or reconnaissance and all that, I will be in the back. I wish I could keep Mike, but I want Mike to go in and fuck some people up with his, just some bare knuckle boxing. So I can imagine Mike coming from around the corner, just it's like just beating the shit out of people. And so I can't keep him as much as I would love to keep him on the back lines.
I just think that guns are so it's not as elegant. I've said
they're not.
Like,
it just connects you.
If you're gonna kill someone, if you're gonna kill an alien, don't you want to do it like cool? Like you shoot him, you got him, dude. But if you chop off his head or like make him explode, like, okay, here's a thought: you can get like they're taser gloves. You can get them on Amazon. I think they're like $80. You can get them, and you could literally like punch aliens with taser guns, like taser fists, if you wanted to do that. Like, if you were actually more comfortable in your skill with martial arts, you could put like electricity through your hands. It's essentially like a superhero suit. You could do that. That's not like fake. That's something you could make. They even have those fire shooters that you can attach to your hand now, where you can shoot fireballs. You can shoot fireballs from your hand. Like, come on. Like, I just think, like, you know, have some imagination. You go shoot a gun, that's great. But I want to see someone show up with like a gun with 2 barrels or something. You know what I mean? Like have a little creativity here.
I like how you're like, I wish it was somebody who had something more to offer than shooting. Like shooting 2 guns. You know, like shooting a bigger gun. Like your answer to that, your solution to your problem of like
a guy that can carry the fucking Ma Deuce, or not the, what's the Gatling gun? Like that can just carry the Gatling gun. Well, because we're talking aliens here.
Well, yeah, we're not carrying the we're not carrying a 50 cal crew served weapon. That's just not happening.
No, not a 50 cal.
Realistically, that's something that's more of a defense weapon. Perhaps we send it with the crew if you guys are doing like a convoy type scenario. But if you're doing super secret squirrel shit, I doubt you're going to want to drive in with a crew served weapon. But I am putting Vromoment on your team because he said you have to be very secretive to be a sex pest. So I know that he can handle the.
I appreciate that.
You know, I know he can handle the rigors of being quiet and sneaking up on people and fucking.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to keep somebody at this point. I'm gonna have to keep Joseph Breyer. I haven't decided. No, you know what? I'm putting Mike on your team too. As much as I'd love to keep him, I gotta give him to you because he's hand to hand.
Jameis for last. I like to keep Jameis around because he'll do anything I tell him to do. Jameis can be like my go-to, like, you know, minion like that. Like, so I'd appreciate it. I know he's your brother and all, but I'm gonna have to take him for my team.
Oh, he's all yours. That just frees up another spot for me in the operations tent because that's what I've been relegated to is the operations tent. Which whatever, you know, and the security team for the fob. Right, I become a fobbit during the actual alien apocalypse. So I'm gonna keep Joseph Breyer already because he's already listed off the M60 and then a slew of other weapons and alcohol he mentioned. So I'm gonna have to keep that. Joseph Breyer, and then J-Dub. I might keep J-Dub just because he I feel like he'd probably be pretty good at like you know, operations type stuff.
Yeah, he has the tactical mind, I assure you. He's played enough video games.
Yeah, I like
what about Jay Coop?
I was just about to take Jay Coop.
I was gonna say, like, if you don't take him, I'm definitely taking Jay Coop.
Oh no, he's staying with me. But and then also, you know who has to stay with me? Megabit, because he's our farmer. So I'm keeping Megabit. He's a farmer, which I think we forgot to mention earlier. But Megabit, he's handy with flora and fauna, and I think that would be a useful asset. He and let me see here. He's the farmer. I'm going to mark that on here so I don't like put him into a position that he's not comfortable with. I'd rather him be out there with his, you know, sun hat and his, you know, gloves on, working in the farm and tending the chickens and such. And then who else do you have? Who else do we have here? We got Mattsquatch. What do you think of Mattsquatch? Do you want him?
Mattsquatch strikes me as a tactical mind too. He'd probably be better suited in your camp. Because I have to go ahead and execute. He's kind of a big guy too, not much for stealth operations. Yeah. I prefer to have smaller folks that can hide with me.
We fat guys got to stay back. Chris Rose just joined the chat. Welcome, Chris. And then who else do we have? I want to make sure that we've included everyone who's still in the chat. I know Critter Me Timbers was here for a while. Do you want her?
I guess. I mean, yeah. I don't know how tall she is, but she strikes me as somebody that has a tactical mind too. Probably politically minded too, actually.
Well, she might be good to have on staff for like if you guys get caught.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Not that I wouldn't like. I'd love to have the memes, and I'd love to have her input in operations. But you know, if you get caught, you're going to need a diplomat.
Yeah, no, good point.
I'm gonna give her to you.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Jameis keeps asking questions about what he would be doing as my minion, and he made a good point that he'd probably be a messenger between the two of us.
Well, yeah.
Go tell Tom that I need to. And that's all he does is just run back and forth between us.
Well, you know, if he did his job as IT and Camo, like we wouldn't have to have a runner. You know, he could just kind of like contact us.
Yeah, exactly.
Mountaineer 216 says that he carries a 1911, which I respect. I'm a 1911 guy myself, but I'm thinking handguns might be up your alley. I need crew serve people by me.
Yeah. My team right there.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll put Mountaineer on your team.
Yeah, my strike force, dude. That's what I have, a strike force.
So I've got 5, you've got 5 right now. That's a squad, right? So we might have to build another squad. What do you think? What other? So there's ops, there's super secret squirrels recon, and then is there another team that we need, perhaps?
Well, what do you have that's you know,
thank you
blowing
for subscribing, Mountaineer.
Like big what are the big you know, when you gotta take out
demolitions.
Demolitions. Thank you. Yeah, we need like a demolition team. Probably. Yeah, demolitions team would be a good call.
Well, because I'm inclined to put. I'm gonna have to move some people then. I'm gonna have to move some bodies because who said they were on the 18? So we got James Pregler.
I know. I told you we're gonna need a lot of people. We're gonna have to start putting hypothetical people in. Like at this point, we have to go. Who else do we know that would join up that isn't watching our show, or at least should be, right? That we can add to these teams. So, and when I say hypothetical, I'm saying, you know, you can pick people that are, you know, that we don't know. We don't know.
Let's stick with people that we do know for now, as long as we can. I've got James Pregler on that team, on the demo team.
Okay.
Who else do we have? I don't know if we have anyone else at this moment. I think Mattsquatch, he said he wanted direct action. Maybe, you know what, that's what we'll do. We'll put Mattsquatch on demo as the team leader.
Yeah, Mattsquatch would be a good team leader for demo.
Because he's you had me at Bigfoot almost as much as you had me at Bigfoot. So we kind of have to give him a position of leadership. James Pregler. So now I'm down 1, but we'll figure that out in time. Who else do we have?
I don't know. That's a good question. I need someone small.
You already have people.
Yeah, but I need a small person smaller than me that can get into tight places.
Well, we'll figure that out as we go. I think Buzz Busby was also in the chat earlier, and then we have I Lack Tact. I know I Lack Tact is an army guy. I'll give you I Lack Tact. I think he's smaller, and I'll take Critter Me Timbers because I'm confident that you can handle diplomacy in a pinch. I'll give you I Lack Tact. And now we're both back at 5. And now we just have to build the demo team. But we'll get to that. Okay. We're good there. We've got where we're going. What do we have for... do we have anybody who's mechanically inclined? I hope somebody in the chat chimes in. Because we're going to need a mechanic. And also, we're going to need skills for when we're back on the base, right? So who has what to offer on base? So on base services. What do we need? We need food.
Yeah.
We need food cooking. We'll say food cooking.
So women, basically.
Right. Food prep.
I'll go in there. She'll do that. She likes to cook.
So you said Staren?
Yeah, Staren. She'll go in there easily.
And then probably Jamis, because that's something that he was trained on. When he gets back, when he gets back from the recon missions, he can get his ass in the kitchen. Food cook, food prepping. We'll for food tending.
James
right?
is becoming a floater. He's a floater.
Yeah, he's just wherever. Well, I mean, we're all going to have double roles at first.
Right. He even called it. He said he was an all-rounder. Yeah, he goes everywhere. He works for both you and I, so he probably That's fucking hilarious. Look at James. Just like anything.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Ben. We'll put him as like a guy who maybe we could coax into him being part of the demo team. I think he'd be useful. So food tending and growing, right? We're putting megabit on that. And then you know what? I'll jump in and help with that because I also I'm a bit of a green thumb. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, green fry.
Green fry. And then some mechanics. Jamis said that he knows some people. Oh, jeez. We're putting an awful lot of like trust in Jamis delivering for us. So
Yeah.
we'll see. You know, I don't want like this I don't like the idea of this end of world business being in the hands of Jamis, like whether or not he can make something happen, but we'll see. I'm going to do it for now because time is of the essence, right? We're hearing about this alien invasion. We need to make it happen. Jamis's friends. And then what else do we need? We need housekeeping. No, we don't need that. Armory.
Yeah,
Armory. Who do we know that's pretty good? You know what? I think I'm going to put James Pregler on that.
Yeah, good call.
And Mattsquatch because they're both pretty smart. They know their way around a gun. What else do we need? Anybody else in the chat? Butcher work. Mike said that he does butcher work, so maybe we'll put him with food, cooking and prepping. Mike in Manitoba. Just don't put James in charge of entertainment. That's what Mike said.
Good one.
And then Mattsquatch can fix things, so we'll see where Mattsquatch best fits. I think I'd rather him be an armorer, but whatever. And then Mike said he's also into carpentry. We'll need carpentry. I think we'll all kind of fall into that. V, what are you doing around the camp? What is your ass up to whenever we're back?
I'm a tactical expert. I'd be advising you on all your tactical moves. You know, and avoid like any and all like hard labor entirely. But on camp, I'm like, just advising you, but most of the time just doing nothing. I assume that I'd be blowing everything else off, and then people come to me. I'm the right hand man, so I tell you, and you execute.
I forgot that I'm supposed to be the mayor, or whatever.
Yeah, you're the rebel leader.
So yeah. I'm still gonna put myself in food tending because sometimes I'm gonna need a break. I'm gonna need to go out to the garden and wander, and perhaps I'll get out there and I'll just shoo the rabbits away and whatnot, and help Megabit with whatever he needs. And I tell you, I had some rabbits got into my garden the other day, and I was furious.
And then gaze at the moon and pontificate on our situation. Yeah. How did we get here?
Is that who are you? And I look up at the moon. I look up at the moon, and I wonder if the aliens out there are looking up at the same moon as me.
Yeah.
Curse that same moon.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else think of anything else that we need to do? Squirrel Team 6? Is that what the team is called? We should be called. Well, James Pregler, your team is the demo team, so Squirrel Team 6. You're gonna have to run that by Mattsquatch. He's your supervisor. I don't have anything to do with that. I can microwave mean hungry man is for a moment, so I'm gonna put him in the kitchen. No, he needs to do something else. He needs to do something legitimate. Find some other use. Remember there was that thing that was going around for a while where they were talking about in the communist commune, what is your job in this utopia or whatever, and everybody was like, I'll be a tarot card reader, and like that was like every single person who commented is like, well, I'm a diviner. I'm a tarot card reader. I can tell your fortune. Like everybody was a fucking fortune teller in this commune, and it wasn't until like somebody finally pointed out like, well, who's cooking? If everyone's just wandering around telling people's fortunes and shit, like who's cooking, who's cleaning, who's fixing things, who's the mechanic, who's this guy, who's that guy? But like so who's our fortune teller? We need to know. You know what? I'm gonna put Dave down for that. I'm gonna put Dave Outlandish down as our.
There you go.
I doubt he wants anything to do with. I talked to him the other day. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, he's our fortune teller. I talked to him. He's under a disguise. I'm not going to give up his new username without his permission, but I found him on Instagram. Apparently, we had been mutuals on Instagram for some time, and I didn't realize it was him. And then I saw something that I was like, I think that's Dave. And then I messaged him. I was like, "Is this Dave?" And he said,
It's
"Yeah,
so
man, what's
funny.
up?"
It's so funny to me that people need to be anonymous on the internet. Like, I don't know, like most of the people I know on the internet, I don't know their real names.
Yeah,
I
I don't
call
either.
them by their gamer tags, their Twitter handles. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And then I'm just out there, with my profile picture being me. I'm like, this is me. This is the guy that I am. I'm not anonymous at all.
Yeah, and
But
yours
people,
isn't even like yours is a picture of you doing some shady shit too. It's not even like you just like in front of an American flag, like smile. It's like you committing a crime. So I see Vro Moment says Smegma Force is your guys' team. So again, you're gonna have to run that by V. But I like Smegma Force 6 also. I think we should all end in 6 just as like a goof. And then people are like, "What's with the 6?" And we'll be like, they won't ask because we're in the middle.
Are there 5 other teams? No, it's just the one.
They'll never know, and then they'll think that there are 5 other teams. And they'll be like, "Where's the other 5?" And you'll be like, "You'll never know." Like just like the nuclear subs, And then we are tent 6 is our tent. It's tent 3 times because I was stuttering, but because I stuttered when I was taking down the name, like the person who was writing down thought that I was saying tent 6. So our name is 10-10-10-6.
Yeah, that works.
Squirrel Team 6, 10-10-10-6, and Smegma Force 6. Who else? I think that's it for teams. What's the living arrangements like? Because this is something that people are going to want to know, V. What are our living arrangements like? Are we having like... Are we doing like a, like kind of like a cult setup where it's, you've got the cabins... and they're in an enshrined area, or not enshrined, but an enclosed area of woodland where, a really nice area. Some of these cults have really nice compounds, I'll be honest. But they're like enclosed by these trees, the wood line, so people can't get to them very easily. And then there are cabins, right? And then each cabin houses 2, 3, maybe 4 people. What are we doing? Are we accommodating for families? Is there a chow cabin? These are the questions that I have for you, V. You're in charge of... I'm delegating this authority to you. Tell me.
I think it's going to be tough because there are 3 reasons why I think this is probably going to be an issue. First of all, we don't actually know what that's going to be like wherever we base ourselves off of. So we're either going to have to build stuff, which is going to take a lot of time, or we're just going to have to live on the move, which is what I'm going to recommend, which would mean like tent city. Like we take our tents with us. And like, here's the thing about that. Like it's efficient, but also like, we're not going to have a lot of time to resist these aliens. Like we're not going to be wanting to like set up a base, like set up shop and like, yeah, we'll have food and all that. Like that's fine. But really, dude, like, I don't think we're going to have time to like set up a base. We're probably going to have to constantly be on the move until we get to like, our final battle, essentially, our final battle with the aliens, where we'll have to like, someone will go in and take out the core, and then the other ones handle the front while distracting the aliens, right? That's distracting. That's the only way we can do it is on 2 different fronts, right? One person distracting the aliens with heavy forces on the actual front, and then someone else go in and, give the alien a cold or, destroy the core or whatever the, unifying filmic device is in this scenario. Whatever it is, that's how it's going to have to work. But in that instance, the longer we wait and build houses, they're going to just obliterate us. At some point, they're going to go, all right, we've had enough of this. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of time to do that, dude.
So you're thinking BYOT?
Yeah, bring your own tent. Yeah.
Okay.
You're sleeping on the ground. If you're in this car, motherfucker, you better be ready to roll out.
I'm gonna write that. Yeah. Vra Moment also says that we can crash at his mom's house if we need to. Mattsquatch recommended one really big bed, which I'm also not opposed to. Maybe we can get a second in the chat. Mattsquatch's one big bed.
You crash at my mom. The whole Mom, the rebels are here.
Can Mom, you make some Hot Pockets? Mom, the meatloaf. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. And then Mattsquatch actually said we could take over an RV store. I totally forgot that I had a travel trailer. I thought I was going to be slumming it with you guys in the tents. I forgot I have an RV.
Yeah.
All right, RV store.
That's the mobile
stop
base.
one.
That's where we'll be having our meetings.
Oh yeah, that's the talk. So so my family's gonna get moved out to the tents. I'll be in the RV. I'll be in the camper.
Yeah.
Until we can steal RVs for everybody, but that'll be order of business one. But that you raised some interesting points, V, and I have to give you credit, as if I'm like one to withhold credit from you ever. Food tending. Megabit, right, with the chickens. I tried to put him on food tending with, like a garden and chickens. That's not something we're dealing with right away. Maybe long-term resistance, maybe. Yeah. But at first... Yeah,
after the initial force is destroyed.
So I'm going to go ahead and move Megabit entirely to
That's like rebuilding. We're finally rebuilding,
So we need food stealing, not food tending. So supply runs. Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to break into Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that brings up a good point. What you were saying earlier too is in this scenario, there is no law. Let's just go steal fucking RVs and you know what I mean? Mob out in these RVs until we get to the place where we have to fight the aliens at.
I have a question about that.
I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
This was a question that I had about the aliens at first, but now it's become a question about, because so this is like those English what is it, man versus man, man versus wild, man versus himself, or man versus nature, man versus himself, these themes, these thematic elements. We went from man versus alien, which is a whole nother theme, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps man versus nature. We could consider them nature. But man versus alien or man versus nature to man versus man. We're now at this Walking Dead position where the show really isn't even about zombies. The show is about man trying to survive against himself while zombies are around. We're kind of at that position where we're man versus man while there are aliens doing alien stuff. We may be totally oblivious to the aliens as far as whatever any of this is concerned, because we're so we've had to turn to this sort of thing. Now, my question originally was, if we were to hijack, because this is my go-to move, is hijacking a alien spacecraft and flying to the alien homeworld, which I assume there will be enough information in the plane or in the ship to get us there. We'll be able to look at their GPS and find out where they came from, and go back to their
shit too. I get where you're going.
Back to their alien homeworld and hold their planet hostage, because their planet is mostly going to be, the military-aged men normally, right, are off fighting the wars. This has been the thing since ancient Greece. All military-aged men go and fight. That's not the case anymore so much. We see all these refugees who are the military-aged men are the refugees. They're running in front of the women and children get us out of here. We need to go to America. We need to go someplace safe because our homeworld is destroyed or whatever. Or the mean people are destroying our country or whatever. So please save us. And with their gay little life.
Are you saying that you are going to take in alien refugees? Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. And actually the opposite. I was going to take the alien, and I assumed you were coming with me, and this is based on our conversations we've had, is we take the alien ship back to the alien homeworld. And since all the military-aged aliens and the fit aliens are here on Earth, conquering Earth, or perhaps other comparable planets throughout the universe, it's just going to be a bunch of women and children, the physically retarded, and the elderly, the age-retarded, as I like to call them. It's just going to be them. So I think we can hold their entire planet hostage, and if we can't, if we make the judgment call based on when we arrive and we realize, there's, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to hold these people hostage. We don't have any leverage. We can just destroy the planet. Would you, V, Villanuevo de hot sauce de poor
Yeah.
poor Wolfpack.
Yeah. Conchita, Salva Hayek, Esteban. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You got
Would
it.
you be willing to kill women and children aliens and their retarded people, their family members? Would you be?
Yeah.
Would you be
I
able
get
to
where
do
you're
that?
going with this, and I like where you're going with this. Okay, first of all, I want to address something in the chat real quick. Somebody said that they wanted to know what our FBI agent would do, and I have the perfect job for the FBI agent. Because he's a jabroni, we would make him James's assistant. So the lowest man on the totem pole, that nobody gets more shit than him because he is James's assistant. But back to what you were saying, I like where you're going with that, because here's what my thoughts as a tactician. We need to acquire their technology. So once we have defeated them, once we have defeated the attack and returned to their planet, we are going to need to do that. Like, to rebuild, to have their technology would be a huge asset. So yeah, going back to their planet and just killing them all and taking their technology, if we can even take a hostage that understands that technology, you know what I mean? And then tell them look, you can build this. And I wouldn't call him a refugee. He's probably going to be killed after we understand everything. But I don't know. We'd have to find somebody that we could hold under duress that could teach us about the technology. So it's either that, or we just wipe them out and let the technology sit there and have our own scientists try to backwards compatibility it, which is going to take forever.
No, it won't. Because you know who we're going to get on our team?
Who?
Bob Lazar. Who has more knowledge about this alien technology and how to reverse engineer it than the guy who was in charge of reverse engineering alien technology. So we're getting. I need to call him.
Yeah, good move. Lazar. Get him on the horn. Get him on the horn.
Get him on the phone immediately. So my question was less to do with after the initial assault. I'm talking as soon as the first alien ship lands, and they come out to hold delegations with our world leadership. You and I, like a couple of cartoon characters, scurry up into the ship, and we go back to their home planet. And at that point, we're already in the world we're there, right? While they're holding the delegation, and we take the planet hostage, just you and me, and our team. I would hope. I'm not going to expect that. I know you and I are in a ride or die. I don't want to hold our team to that same standard yet until they tell me otherwise. But I think we go back, and maybe here's what we do. If we want their technology, if we can't, the more people we can take with us, super, because then we can just take their fleet with us and come back to the planet and just wipe out the aliens, when we get here.
Yeah, that's
with their own technology.
I would encourage that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would encourage.
And what I recommend doing, and I want your opinion, because I don't make decisions. You know me. I'm not as a leader, I'm more of a follower. I know when to lead and I know when to step aside and ask, hey, to lead, you have to know how to follow, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, V, what do you think of this? We grab one of these scientists and we just shoot him. First things first, in front of the other scientists. And then we say, you're going to give us the blueprints, you're going to give us everything, or we're going to shoot one of you every 30 seconds. And they're going to be like, well, what's 30 seconds? And we're going to be like, every time it gets to 3-0, because time is a human construct, right? But as soon as it gets to 30, we're going to shoot another one of yous. And then we do that until they give up all their blueprints and all their information, all their secret technology.
Right. We
do that in all the different areas. There's technology, there's medical science. Yeah. So we do that. We grab the first surgeon that we see, shoot him in the head. No questions asked. As soon as we walk in the room, we just shoot the first one we see. And then we go to the next person. We say, every 30 seconds that you don't give us your technology or your information or your secrets, we're going to shoot another one of you. So you better get to it. You better scatter and get your shit and bring it back here.
So this is very unorthodox, and it's very you're not going to have a lot of backing. I obviously will back you because I have very low morals. My morals are whatever, kill them. I don't give a shit about them. But there are going to be people that think it's wrong to just kill innocent bystanders. And so you won't have a lot of backing as a leader when you do stuff like that. Like, this is the politics in it, of course. But if we're doing it for our own benefit and we're going to go in there and just like take them out and take their stuff, then I'm down with that. That's what imperialism is. And I think we should be doing that all across the universe, our globe, our fucking universe. We should be taking over. We should be the alien invasion. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like, we
you know
should
what?
be the ones showing up at these other planets going, give us your shit, you're done here. And then fucking taking their technology and, adapting to their civilization.
Here's the thing, V. And I appreciate your input. I'm going to push back, though. Because I'll do what I'll do your recommendation over my own, because mine are typically hot, like just the first thing that pops into my head. And that's what that was.
Right.
Who's going to know what we did on the alien planet to get that stuff other than you, me,
it's our,
Mattsquatch, Jake Hoob, Vro Moment, James Pregler are the ones who said that they were ride or die noids. And so they're the only ones that are going to know.
If the chat is on board with that, then yeah, that's a good move. It's a power move.
And you know what's funny? What's going to give us power over these aliens, and without actually giving us power over these aliens, is we arrived in their own spaceships, right? They're going to think...
Trojan horse, dude.
Yeah, they're going to... and plus, they're going to see us get out instead of their family members, right? And so we're going to get out and we're going to say, they're going to see us instead of their family members, their loved ones that, they have like yellow ribbons tied on their space trees for. They're going to see us get out and they're going to say, they must have conquered our people. And they're going to automatically assume that we are more powerful than their best warriors. So that gives us a serious edge over them. We may not have to kill any more than just one of each particular career field. And after the first two, once the news breaks what's happening, they're going to like come to the door with that information already. You know what I'm saying? So all we may have to kill is like one scientist and one doctor, and that's it. We may just have to kill two people to conquer an entire race and turn ourselves into a type 2 civilization. Do you want to be that guy, V? Do you want to be the guy who brings us to type 2?
Yeah, absolutely I do. I do. In fact, that's a great move to achieve that. And I fully support that 100%. I fully support that 100%. That is a good move. And tactically speaking, that'd be the best way to do it. That'd be the best way to achieve type 2 civilization faster than what we are, because we're not progressing at the rate that we should be. And if aliens are really here and they're type 2 before us, that's not good news for us. That already means that their weapons are more advanced than ours, just by that alone. It's going to suck, dude. It's going to suck to have to fight back against aliens. Like, we have this image that we're probably going to, carry our little pea shooters and shoot at the aliens, but they may have some sort of ability that, like, they're invulnerable, like totally invulnerable to our guns. Even nuclear bombs, who knows? They could have something that, like, can stop all that. They could have, like, a world destroyer. If it's Galactus, dude, he's just going to eat our fucking planet. If Galactus is the alien that shows up, we are fucked, dude. Like, that's it. Might as well just fucking enjoy every last moment, because that's it. You're done. There's no fighting Galactus. We don't have a fucking Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer. You know what I mean? Like, we're fucked.
Well, that's a big if, right? That's, and we're dealing strictly hypothetical at this point. But... Yeah,
but our enemy is a concern. That's what I'm saying.
And that's a good point. We have to kind of wait, but if we fail to prepare, V, we prepare to fail. So let's prepare, assuming this is a combatable enemy. Let's go with that for right now. Okay, if they show up in their Galactus, then we have no choice but to spread our butt cheeks and welcome the alien butt huggers. Some points raised in the chat that I need to bring up, and I do need to add Mike in Manitoba to the Ride or Die Noids list, because he did confirm that he's a Ride or Die Noid. And also he points out, remember David and Goliath. But there are 2 points that were made. First, a good idea, and then second, there's a devil's advocate here. Good idea. Mattsquatch said that we need to bring some severed alien heads with us. when we arrive back at the alien planet.
Right.
So it means we need to at least kill 2 so that we can hoist their heads up when we come walking off of the ship. We can just toss it out in front of us and they can see that there's... So we need to kill at least 2 alien warriors. We need to kill at least 2 alien civilians, a doctor and a scientist, at least. That's the bare minimum. We need to do that. But even if we kill... What if we get on the ship and it turns out it's just some nerd pilot and like his assistant or whatever in the co-pilot? We just kill them. But then we can paint their face like the warriors. I think that's a good move. I would rather not fight alien warriors if I can avoid it.
That is genius. That's genius. I couldn't have thought of it better myself, dude. I applaud you. I applaud you for that.
Thank you. And then we also have the Negatron Nancy over here, Jamis. He points out that they could be operating as a hive mind and they wouldn't believe our ruse when we got there. That is something. What do we do in that case? What do we do if we imagine coming off the ship?
Yeah, that's where my espionage team comes in. We have to take out the center, the core. We have to take out the core. That's where my team comes in, and we infiltrate the mothership. Right? I'd have to take my crew of ninja and infiltrate the mothership. That's what would happen.
So you need to infiltrate the hive mind core.
Yeah.
Before any of this other stuff that we do. Got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's step 1. Now we just need to get you there. So I need Joseph Byrer, J-Dubs, J-Cube, Megabit, and Critter Me Timbers. I need you guys to get on that. I need you guys to gather up whatever intel you can on the alien menace. And so that...
we need to know what we're looking at here. We need to know what we're going to have.
Team 10-10-10-6, I need you to get the intel for Smegma Force 6. And then obviously, I think Mattsquatch's team, Squirrel Team 6, of James Pregler and Ben, whose last name will remain anonymous at this point, remain nameless at this point. Just because he doesn't want anything to do with our show. Like, he listens to our show, and he, like, critiques the hell out of me afterwards. Like, he's always giving me shit. And he'll message me and tell me what all things we were wrong about after the show. But he doesn't want anything to do. Like, he certainly wouldn't want to be named on the show. But James Pregler, Ben, and Mattsquatch, you will be the demo team who has to go in and actually destroy the brain. So be prepared for that. I need you to study up. Ops, step 1 is going to be gathering intel on all the possible alien menaces, nemesis or menaces. I don't know if menaces. I don't know if that's the plural of menaces or menace.
It's menaci.
Menaci. Okay. I need you to gather up the intelligii of the menaci or the nemesis.
We're going long on this show, and I actually have somewhere I have to be tonight. So
okay, all right. Well, we're done.
I don't mean to cut it short on you or anything, but I do have to run some errands tonight, and we're coming up on our.
I have the notes here.
We have a lot. We have a counteroffensive. Like we know what to expect. We've got people we can count on. We can do this, assuming that they're fightable. Then they're not Galactus. We should be all right.
Yeah,
I think
we're fine. I think we're ready to go.
I think we're fucked, man. If aliens are real too, we're fucked. That's right, man.
You're being a Negatron Nancy here, and I need you to be an Optimism Prime is what I need you to be.
Yeah, Optometrist Prime.
Optimist Prime is what it is, not a Negatron Nancy.
Should I chill?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much for showing up to our show. We love having you guys here. It's such a blast. I noticed a lot of the new people in today contributing. Bro Moment, you're a funny guy. it's funny. I like it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on the YouTube. Subscribe. I'm still doing the contest for the shower curtain. So if you get that 700 subscriber, take the screenshot, send it to me on Twitter, and I'll buy you a shower curtain of your choice on our Etsy or our it's not Etsy, it's Redbubble. Our Redbubble shop where our merch is at, you can buy. Also check that out. Tag us, like our stuff. Shoot us emails. Get on the Discord and talk to us. We love to chat with you guys, man. Unfortunately, we have a small window to do this sometimes. So when we get on here to do the show, it doesn't always end the way we want it to. But yeah, I think that's it. What else?
That's it. That's all I got. I had, Mike in Manitoba said the hive mind can raid. Mattsquatch wants to fight the alpha naked with a knife. And there was something else. Oh, and then Mike in Manitoba said to cut the new guy a break. So anybody out there, this is what I'm going to use my shilling moment for, other than saying thank you for coming, because this has been a fun show. I always like these interactive shows where we get to like create a cult together, or we get to, next week we'll be developing an app, so I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be a funny one.
Yeah.
And this week, coming up with a plan to stave off the alien menaces.
Menaci.
I'm sorry. But this is what I'm going to say. I don't say this ever because I'm like a narcissistic asshole. I couldn't do this show without V. And there have been times where V couldn't come on the show for one reason. He was ill or couldn't bring himself to do it. Likewise, there are times where I couldn't do it. And we just don't do the show without the other one. We are a partnership. You Had Me at Bigfoot is not You Had Me at Bigfoot, the Twitter. I jumped onto the Twitter account because my other account got banned and suspended. But V and I are a partnership, so when you're talking to, or when you say like, hey, follow this guy, or follow him, or you use some kind of singular thing, I am not You Had Me at Bigfoot. V and I are You Had Me at Bigfoot. So I want you guys to remember that I am not this show. I am not the prime guy. I am not the host. I am a co-host alongside V. We are a team, and we are a partnership on this entirely. Whatever you have to say, I would ask you politely to recognize when you do say something that, hey man, follow these guys, or hey, check out these guys, because it's not me. It's not just me. I'm not the talent of this show. I am half of it, if even that. But please recognize that. I appreciate you, V, and I'm going to say it now in front of everybody. I couldn't do this show without you. I appreciate you, and I thank you for stepping on when you did, when no one else would, when everyone else abandoned the show and went their separate ways and whatever. You stepped in when no one else would, and I want to say I appreciate that. So,
man, I don't know whether to feel flattered or to call you a homo.
Either one or both.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. I always do get kind of sad when I see people and they're like, follow Tom, blah, blah, blah. Like, what am I, chopped fucking liver? Like, I'm not on the show. Like, we're pushing 100 episodes, and I've been on like 80 some. Like, I've been on like the bulk of the show for 3 years now. 3 fucking years, dude.
Right.
We've been doing this. Yeah. Anyways.
So that was.
And if you don't like our show, then fuck you.
Yeah. If you don't, and I'll say this, I'll be the counter to that. I'll be the devil's advocate. If you don't like our show, that's fine, because you are totally entitled to that as long as you live in the continental United States, or in Oconus, United States. If you live within the confines of the United States, you are allowed to not like our show. If you live anywhere else, you're not granted the freedom of speech, and you absolutely have to like us. So, with that being said, we will see you guys all next week. To develop an app together, which will be a lot of fun. Till then,
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.